In today's video, I'm going to show you how to take advantage of Adobe's Firefly AI to remove backgrounds from images, clean up unwanted objects, and add in new elements, all for free using Adobe Express. So, whether you're looking to make something for social media, create a flyer for an upcoming event, or remove those pesky water bottles in the background from an image, these AI tools are super easy and free to use. Let's dive in. What's up everyone, welcome back to Dance Tech with JHsu, where I am helping dancers use technology better to make a bigger impact with their art. Today, we're going to talk about how to use Adobe Express to remove backgrounds and do other things to manipulate images. Now, I have used Canva for years and I love it. It's super easy to use, the interface is great. But if you want to use their remove background feature, that's a paid feature that you don't get in the free version. I recently did a presentation on social media for public school teachers, and in that county, they were encouraging teachers to use Adobe Express instead of Canva because that is what had been vetted by the county. So I started messing around and discovered, lo and behold, you can remove backgrounds and use a lot of their generative features in Adobe Express with the free version. There is a caveat: for a free account, you get, I believe, 250 generative AI credits per month. So for removing backgrounds, it doesn't affect that. But for removing objects or adding in elements, things where the AI has to recreate or create something new to replace things or add in things, it is a limit to 250 credits. Now, I could not figure out how many credits are used every time you use a feature. Just know that you will be a little bit more limited in the amount of times you can try and add or take something out. However, when I was getting ready for that presentation, I never ran into an issue with that 250 credit limit. And it was only when I was getting ready for this video actually that when I was doing things over and over again, practicing, that I ran into that limit. So I think you can actually make quite a few things with that 250 credit limit. With a premium version, I couldn't figure out if it's just a higher credit limit or it's unlimited. But regardless, I don't think you're gonna run into an issue with that unless you're creating a lot of stuff every single month. If you find this content helpful, please consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and hitting that bell icon so you know every time I drop a new video. This video is not going to be a full-on tutorial for Adobe Express. I did do a walkthrough of a lot of the features and the layout in the presentation I mentioned before, and that is on the YouTube channel, the entire thing. So if you're interested in checking that out and learning about maybe some Instagram tips specifically for public school dance teachers, I will link that up above. But let's dive right into it and look into those three features: how to remove backgrounds, remove objects, and add in new elements. First, let's see how to remove a background from an image. Something important to note, you'll see over here, there is a crown. That means it is a premium feature. I am doing this on a free version of Adobe Express. So that way you know everything we do here is possible on a free account. If you pay for it, these icons go away. Also, something important to note, you cannot import something into Adobe Express, cut out the background, and then export that image with the background still not there. I tried that before, and for whatever reason, you can cut out the background, but if you export it as a PNG, it still has a background. So if you needed to use this in a graphic, you would need to create the entire graphic in Adobe Express. I don't know if that's the same for Canva. If you have experience with Canva, please let me know. To remove the background, we're gonna click and drag an image in. We're gonna keep the original aspect ratio for this one. This is my friend London. All right, we are in. We're gonna select the image, and you'll see we can remove the background, remove object, or insert object. Over here, anything with a crown means it's a premium feature, and you can try it, I believe, with the free version. But if you wanted to keep it, for example, if you want to export this image, you would need to have a premium membership or account. So if I click on it here, see right there. But just to show you, if I do quick select, and actually let's do add an element in here real quick, just to show you. Oh, there it is there. I was like, where is it? All right, so now if I do a erase, quick select, I can adjust the brush size here. And now we'll see what's underneath. And quick select means it's kind of guessing or using the AI to guess where I want the erase to be. Versus if I do a circle brush, It's basically like an eraser. And the hardness, if I do a really hard brush, you can clearly see the edge versus not as hard. It's gonna be a lot softer around the edge. And then opacity, I can make it, let's say 39. So now if I brush over, it's only partially. So see how it's getting more faded, but it's not completely erasing all the way through. So that is what the erase feature is. But again, you don't have that with the free account. All right, we're back here. To remove a background, super easy. All you do is remove background. And there you go. I can now move it around, do whatever I need, crop things, etc., etc. Just to mess around with this a little bit, to have a little bit more fun with this, let's see. We're gonna duplicate, and they are lined up there. And I'm gonna, let's see, where are my layers? I'm gonna select the top layer. I'm gonna make it totally opacity 0 for now. I'm gonna take this layer here, and now effects adjustments. Here we go. I want to totally desaturate him. Take this and also desaturate that. We're gonna add an element, rectangle. There we go. Let's see, border thickness, we'll make it a little bit thicker. Fill, no fill. And let's make the border white. We're gonna make it here. Alright, then I'm gonna take this top layer, make it like that, but then I'm gonna crop it in so it looks like he's reaching through. Let's actually move this square here. And we'll just move this crop. Ah, there we go. Detach. Okay. Now we're gonna rotate this, size it up. Alright, I'm gonna duplicate this one, drag it back here, drag it back here. I'm gonna crop this one to fit the square. Oh, that's annoying. Come on. Zoom out. I'm going to select this one and desaturate it. So it looks like, he has a window into it. Anyways, that is one way you could use the remove background. You could always, of course, add in text. So, if you're here, meet the team. This is a terrible way to do it, but I could then just take this and put it behind all of these elements. You could have something like that. Anyways, there you go. That's how you would remove the background. To remove objects, very simple. Again, we're gonna click and drag an image, and let's make this a square for social media. This is an image when I was teaching a workshop at Belhaven University. Shout out to Belhaven. Just make it fit. All right, and say I like this image, but see all those bottles and things in the background? That's kind of distracting. So let's see how well AI does with this. Click on it, remove object. Similar to the erase, you have your brush size. You can make it bigger or smaller. When you do object removal in particular, you really want to make sure you are being as precise with your selection as you can. So I would say generally a smaller brush would probably be better. And then just zoom in a little bit. So we're gonna zoom in. I'm gonna close this so I can click and drag around. All right, remove objects. make the brush a little bit smaller. That. If I wanted to, I could probably also just remove or select a bunch of these things, but let's do just this for now. Click remove. All right, and that was honestly not very good. I might have also just missed this little part of the edge, but we can click through to see different options. I don't like any of them, and I think also that's partly because of where I brushed. I just missed some of it, so let's discard. And let's try that again. We're gonna go a little bit bigger, just a teeny bit. All right, make sure I really get everything I want covered. So the thing with generative AI is sometimes you don't like the results it gives you and you have to regenerate and regenerate to get the right effect that you want. So we'll see, hopefully it does it. It is also a little bit trickier when it is overlapping with something. If it was just the bottles against the curtain, it would be much easier, I think, for the AI to figure out what I want. Oh, that is not bad. And again, you always have some more options here. And if I don't like any of these, I could also try just generating more. I'm gonna click through. Oh, I like that one. It blends in really well, so I'm gonna keep that one. Nice. Close that just so I can click to over here. We're gonna skip this one for now. No, let's do it. All right, remove object. And now let's carefully try not to get my shirt or pants. Ooh, right there's pretty good. Actually, I'm just curious what happens if I do all of this as well. Not bad, although that edge is a little funky. It's not as blended as I would like it. Let's try generating a couple more because I do think my selection was pretty good. I think the first one is still maybe the best out of all of these. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna keep that for now. Let's just zoom out. I mean, honestly, for like social media, that would probably be okay. What I could also try is brushing over that now and seeing if it'll remove that awkward line for me. I'm just curious, see how that goes. This is something I come across all the time when I'm taking rehearsal or class pictures for studios. They do their best to get water bottles, backpacks, things out of the way to have it just look cleaner in the studio. But sometimes you can't, or there's an angle where they thought it was out of the way, but it really wasn't. And so then I have to go in and I am photoshopping a lot of this stuff out. In Photoshop, it is a little bit easier because you have more control over your selection and you have other tools besides the AI, like if your clone stamp tool, healing brush tool, things that you don't have, I believe, in Adobe Express. But that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that. Nice, we fixed that and keep. Last one, this is kind of distracting because it's so bright. So let's see if we can get rid of this one here. This will be interesting. Let's see. It's also a good idea to not select too many things all at once, because even though that could save you on the generative credits, say I selected the broom and the water bottles that we had already done, you'll notice I had to regenerate some and not others. So you can't selectively choose, I want to keep this part but not this part if you regenerate it. So it's a good idea to not do that if you're trying to be really precise and clean with it. All right, this, unfortunately, it just thinks I want a different broom. That is better though, because it's at least less distracting, it's not as colorful, although that line looks funky. So let's try this again, generate more. And as you can tell, I didn't try these images ahead of time, so we're seeing how this goes together. Although I have messed around with it, I didn't use these specific images. Oh, there we go. It removed it, even though there is that weird line still, but at least it's gone. That one looks terrible if you look at the floor area. This one, though, is very promising. Okay, let's zoom out just to check that. And we'll keep that. Oopsies, I accidentally was moving the image around. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, that honestly is not bad. There is that reflection that we should probably take care of if we're being very nitpicky. Get rid of that. This reflection there. I don't know what that random dot is. Let's just get that. And that looks great. I'll keep that. I'm going to speed through the rest of this image because it's basically the same concept. Alright, as you can see, I did go over a couple areas a few times to get rid of those weird lines and things like that. So with generative AI stuff, it just takes a couple tries sometimes, and how you select and where you select does make a difference. But we went from this to that, and that looks way cleaner if you're trying to use it for a promotional image, social media, stuff like that. I guess I forgot to mention, but to download the image, you just go hit download up here for everything that we create. Last but not least, let's use AI to create some new elements to add into the image. This one, you might run out of credits because if you don't like what it gives you, you have to regenerate over and over again, but it's a lot of fun to mess around with. So let's do this. We're gonna click and drag. We'll keep the original aspect ratio. The example I used during the presentation was birds, so we're just gonna keep with birds. I'm gonna click on the image. We're gonna insert object this time. Describing what you see, you just write out whatever you want. The more descriptive you are, the better your results will probably be. I did notice that a small brush selection is way easier and will give you much better results. For example, if I wanted a flock of birds, I can't write flock of birds and it will give me a lot of birds. I would want to do small circle bird, another small circle, create a new bird over and over again. I don't know why, that's kind of a weird limitation, but just be aware of that. Just to show you, well, let's do one first that works. So, flying red bird. We're gonna brush where we want the bird to be. We'll do a small bird. And we'll insert. And there we go, we have a small red bird, and we can click and it'll give me different options of small red birds that I can choose from. So I can always generate more if I don't like that prompt or what it gave me, but I will take it. It's like it's flying with them. Just to show you what doesn't work very well, I can do a flock of birds flying around. And so you would think I could go here, 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 squiggle, and just cover this whole area, but that doesn't work very well. It's gonna give me basically one giant bird. At least it did last time I tried this out. I actually did not try doing a lot of small circles, so maybe we'll try that. That might work actually. Don't know why I didn't think of that. Oh, okay, as you can see, I got a giant bird. Don't know what kind of bird that is. That's interesting. We also got, okay, yeah. Again, it's AI, doesn't always hit the mark. We're gonna discard that. I'm gonna try this flock of flying colorful birds. But instead, let's do a larger brush size. We're just gonna click, click, click. I don't think this will work either. I think I would need to do just one dot at a time, but let's try this. Last time I tried something like this, it just smeared the background a little bit without giving me actual birds. So I'm curious to see if this will work. Yeah, you'll see how those dots just look weird. I don't know what happened. So having a lot of multiple selections or selecting too big of an area that isn't as clear, that doesn't seem to do well. So let me just create a few more birds and then we'll come back and see how this looks. And there you go, that's how we added some birds to this image. Something I don't like about this In Photoshop, if I do generative AI, each thing I create is then a separate layer that I can manipulate, I can rotate, move around. With this, I cannot then take these birds and reposition them. So that is something kind of annoying. If I don't like what I did, I'd have to just do the undo button and then redo it, or I could click here and restore the original object or image. So that is kind of annoying. You have to mess around with this a lot. Personally, when it comes to Adobe Express, I think I would be using the remove background and object removal a lot more than the generative features or generating new items or elements, but it's definitely something fun you can mess around with. So just to finish this out, let's say we're going to duplicate this. Don't understand why they don't just like make it line up perfectly already. That's kind of annoying. So let's say make sure this is lined up there. Great. Turn the opacity back. We're going to, for this top image, restore original object, so then we can remove the background. Background is removed, and I'm going to nudge it over a little bit. There we go. Text. The dance concert is called Flight. So creative. Get it? Flight. Birds. This is also terrible graphic design. I am not a graphic designer, so please don't judge my artistic choices when it comes to this. This is just a demonstration. There you go. And then you can have more information, etc., etc. But that is how you can use the generative AI to add in elements that were not already in the image. Oh, something I forgot to mention. You can, of course, always go to media and search in their Adobe stock for stuff. So let's say I want birds flying, because they have a ton of stock footage. So say I like this bird, I'm going to add it. And now I'm going to, it's still thinking, there we go. Remove the background. And now I have something that I can manipulate. So I can rotate it, I can scale it. I could adjust it if I want to make it more saturated, less saturated. Sharpen it, set a little brightness there. Oh, there, sorry, I missed. And now I can even flip it, say I want it flying in the other direction. It's a dance off now, I don't know. Anyways, so if you don't find the things that you want through the generative features, you can always go to media and try looking through the stock library, or add in your own images and manipulate them through there after you remove the background, stuff like that. There you go. Those are some ways that you can use Adobe's Firefly AI for free through Adobe Express. I would love to know in the comments if you think these tools are useful, if it's gimmicky, if you prefer Canva over Adobe Express, or which one of these features you think you would use the most. Remove background, remove object, or insert object. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.